Hey guys, my name is Soaches and today we're gonna be making a large ammo crate from TF2. So starting off, we're gonna be focusing on the actual crate. I'm gonna be using a regular type of cardboard that you can find at most art and craft stores, but pretty much any type of cardboard will be fine. I'm making each of the squares 7.5 centimeters. You can make it any size you want as long as you remember to also change the size of the other details later. When you're done, cut out 6 pieces. Now we can start gluing the pieces together. I'm gonna be using regular hobby glue for this part. Remember to only do 5 sides, so leave the last piece as we're gonna be using that for the lid. As I go along, I'm also adding another layer of cardboard on the inside that's 2 mm shorter. You're gonna need 4 of these pieces. I used acrylic paint to mix a bright beige color, then I started painting the lid as well as the box itself. Because of TF2's vibrant art style, I tried my best to distribute the paint evenly to make it look more cartoony. When that was all done, I started working on the panels that will be lining the sides of each square. These are slightly darker beige and I painted them before cutting them out. We're gonna make these panels in 2 sizes. The big ones are 1 cm thick and the smaller ones are 7 mm. Once we have a pile of each, we can start putting them together. I tend to go a bit overboard on details, so I also painted the edge of each plank after cutting them out. If you're gonna try making this build, for whatever reason you don't have to do that, I just get very caught up in small details. I'm starting with the thicker planks. I measure how long it has to be, then I cut it off and glue it on. The thicker planks should go to the left and right on each side of the crate, and the thinner ones will be at the top and the bottom. Now comes the time to decide what sides will be the front and back of the crate. The front and back have a slanted board right across the center. I'm using a thinner plank for that. Before moving on, I repainted areas where the cardboard could be seen through. I also changed the upper rim on the inside of the crate to the darker beige we used on the planks. And that's what it looks like when it's done. Moving on to the ammo logos. I printed some pictures of the TF2 ammo logo in the correct sizes. I placed some tracing paper underneath and started filling in the lines. I don't like how the circle came out, so I redrew that using a compass. While I was making this, I almost missed the fact that the logos are in different sizes. The logo on the lid should be 4 cm big, while the ones on the crate are only 3.5. The prints on the crate should only be on the empty sides, so the ones that don't have the slanted plank across. When everything was sketched out, I started filling in the lines using brown acrylics. I really wanted to keep all the details looking as close to the in-game version as possible, so I managed to find a square stick that I could use for the low polygon bullets. I cut out 14 of them, each bullet being 2.8 cm long and 6 mm wide. I also need to point out that making the bullets was an absolute pain and the most time consuming and boring part of the build. Okay, moving on. I divided up all 14 bullets into different sections to be able to differentiate which color goes where and where to make the tip. I found the easiest way to make the tip was to use a knife, then file it down to make it smoother, then finishing up with fine grit sandpaper. Repeat this process 14 times, and when you're done crying, we can start painting them.
Well, this took longer than expected. I think I was being way too nitpicky, so it took 3 days to paint all of these. It seems like it would take like half an hour, but I had to paint in several layers, and if I did something wrong, I'd go back and fix it. But all of these are done now. I think they look pretty good, so I'm gonna start gluing these to the side of the crate, and then it's basically just the missiles left.
I have to match up each bullet so it attaches to the edge of the next one in line. Since the first one is lying flat on the edge of the crate, it made the first couple of bullets a bit trickier to put on, but it gets easier as you go along. There should only be 9 bullets on the outside of the crate. The reason I still made 14 of them is because the lid is going to be slightly open, meaning you can also see the ones on the inside, and it would look weird if the ammo belt just ended right beneath it. The hardest part was gluing on the ones on the inside. And apparently it was even harder to record without getting my hands in the way of the camera. I'm gonna be using a 5mm thick stick as the base for the rockets. You can get these at craft stores and floral shops, because I think it's actually one of those sticks you normally use to hold up your plants. I made each rocket around 12 centimeters. As usual, I'm gonna be working with air drying clay. I'm putting a size chart on the screen, but I highly recommend looking at reference photos if you for any reason try to do this yourself. The picture I made was more for showing what goes where, so it's not entirely to scale. After sanding it down, I started adding the rest of the details. Taking a look at the in-game version, I noticed that the middle section wasn't 100% round, so I went back and sanded down parts of it to make it seem like it had less polygons. For the really small details, I had to use some tools after the clay had hardened. I also used them to polish up some other areas. Finally, we get to the painting. At first I ran into some issues trying to find the right color, but I managed to work it out as I went along. There's some splashes of brighter color in some areas to make it look a bit more worn down, which I think also helps to give the rocket some extra detail.
So obviously this is almost done. Pretty much what's left is gluing these in place and gluing the lid in place. Before I do that, there's one small detail left, and that's a couple of rusty nails sticking out from the side. So I'm gonna be gluing those in place, and then after that it's just a matter of putting everything else in place, and then this build is done.
I used some small copper nails and gently tapped them in place with a hammer. I cropped the nails down to size, put some glue in the hole and used the hammer to put them in place one by one. When that was done, it was just a matter of gluing everything else in place. Thank you so much for watching this video and for making it all the way till the end. If you're new here, you can subscribe for more videos just like this one, and if you have any ideas for future videos, you can leave them in the comment section below. Hope you're having a great 2019, and as always, take care, stay awesome, and I'll see you all next time.